Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today is Monday, which means it's time for an episode of Loadout, the series where you guys, the viewers, get to pick a gun and customization for me to use. The way you do this is you leave a comment down below, letting me know what kind of weapon and accessories you'd like me to run with, and I will pick one of the top rated comments for the next episode. Today's top comment comes from Lemons. He says, "The Scavenger Loadout. Every person you kill, you need to pick up their kit. If clearing out a group of enemies, wait until you have killed them all and then take their kit. Start off with any pistol of your choice in any class. Thanks for the great content and keep up the good work." Now this loadout is very much like kind of doing a manual weapons master game, except where I'm the only one playing it. So naturally I'm at a pretty big disadvantage, but it can make for some cool clips here and there. Without question, the hardest thing about playing this way is simply getting your next weapon, where in weapons master you appear with the gun so you don't have to run out into the middle of nowhere to get it. Where in this, I'm usually killing people who expose themselves or are trying to run across a field, and I get an easy kill on them. Well, it's an easy kill, but then I have to run up and get that weapon from that same stupid spot that they were in. So I basically got killed most of the time trying to pick up the weapons from the people I had killed, which definitely got a bit frustrating, but I definitely had some good rounds too. In fact, I finished top of the server more often than I really thought I was going to. And without question, some maps worked better than others. TDM seemed like the appropriate venue for this kind of setup. Playing on Rush, it might be impossible to get to the bad guys that I was killing just because of those really intense firing lines. It's sometimes hard to get across no man's land. So I figured I'd have the most opportunity to actually pick up weapons in TDM. But some of the maps that are very choke pointy or have a lot of congestion made this loadout very, very difficult to run. And if there's like a group of 4 or 5 guys, you know, I'd have to try and take them all out with a handgun and then switch to a primary if I could kill them all and get in there and then grab a weapon. So those scenarios were very difficult, and it was almost easier if I could find someone who had broken off from the pack and then grab their weapon. Now for the starting class and pistol, I chose to go with Assault so that I could heal myself if necessary, and then the handgun I chose was the 93R. I really like the 93R. It's probably my favorite handgun in the game. It offers you that nice balance between semi-auto and full auto with the burst fire functionality. I had a laser sight on there which I turned on and off depending on the quantity of smoke or the map that I was playing. It really allowed me to kill people quickly in close quarters, grab their weapon, and then go to town with whatever the heck I picked up. Now the other really difficult part of playing this way versus just playing a game of Gunmaster is that the weapons you pick up are not always loaded. So if you need to kill somebody immediately after picking up a weapon, you might only have like 1 or 2 bullets to work with, or maybe 0. So you just really don't know what you're going to get. So there's a big element of chance when playing the game this way. In addition to which, the weapons do not always land on the enemy player's body, so you might be wasting a lot of time trying to pick up a gun that's not in the location of the enemy player, or it's rolled underneath an object and for whatever reason the game's not letting you pick it up from there. Also, I noticed a funny thing where if you kill a guy, take their kit, and then kill them again, and they're still running the same kit, it gives you a weird thing where it doesn't look like you're actually picking up a new gun when you try and switch to the exact same kit that you're already carrying. And so that was kind of weird at first. I kept like trying to pick it up and like wondering what was going on. So it's an interesting little, I don't know if you call it a bug because it's such an uncommon situation, but it does happen. Now player count was also a big deal for this game mode. I played a couple games where there was 30 players and I could barely kind of get by playing this style. 24 was much more forgiving, and it's simply because when you kill somebody, you need a little bit of time to get their weapon, pick it up, and get situated with whatever new kit you have versus just endless enemies that you have to deal with, and that's easier to do on low population games. High population games, it's much more of an RNG factor as to whether or not you're going to live to pick up the next gun and kill the next guy. Now mentally, I had to completely change up the way that I personally like to play the game. I don't just go running out into the middle of nowhere, exposing myself to all kinds of angles and threats, but this setup requires you to do that to pick up the next weapon. So you got to get out there, you got to pick up that gun. It gave me a little bit of leeway in that I could try and kill people around that weapon to secure it, you know, which is a little bit more forgiving, but still, if a gun's in a really dangerous spot, it's in a really dangerous spot. So I had to keep moving quickly and sort of play this class more like a brawler, not really care too much about like staying alive as long as possible, but just kind of move quickly, pick up guns, move around, pick up the next gun, pick up the next gun, and just try and be as fast as possible just so I could get those weapons and then get out of there. Sometimes I'd have to pick up a gun under fire and just dive into cover somewhere to try and get a kill with it. There was also a good variety of weapons too. Yeah, it tended to favor the M416 and the AEK, especially on TDM, but just seeing a lot of other sniper rifles and carbines and PDWs and stuff in the mix was good. Not everybody's trying to be a crazy tryhard AEK pro all day long. And now that I've got the bolt action rifle here, sure you can try and hip fire, but you're generally not going to live too long playing that way. So going for long range targets is obviously the way you're meant to play, but since I don't get his gun beamed to me, now I have to try and make my way across this map. And rather than trying to work my way around the outside, I'm trying to be faithful to what the loadout's about, but it gets me killed. So as you can see, there's just a lot of aspects of playing this way that are really counterintuitive, but they do look cool. Like this clip here, for example, where I wreck that guy, pick up his gun, pick up this gun, and then get a sweet bolt action hipfire shot for a third kill. That's sort of the way that I think a lot of people imagine this working out. It rarely does, but on the occasion that it looks awesome, where you just switch from one gun to the next gun to the next gun getting kills, you look like a total badass. But I think if you really want to see a lot of cool clips like that, where you're shooting somebody with one gun, switch to the next, switch to the next, switch to the next as you're getting kills, then Gunmaster is really the way to go, because it's actually built around this philosophy, and you're not going up against people using their favorite guns all day. So, I'm not getting wrecked over and over again by AEKs trying to take him out mid-range with a 93R. Not the best combat scenario there, and there's a lot of footage cut out of these rounds where it's just me getting one kill with the 93R, going for the gun, and dying. And that's probably most of what happened this whole time, even though I can edit it to make it look awesome and like every life was this epic adventure where I picked up all these guns and got all these kills. Now those were really just the highlights from each game, where every now and then. In fact, there are some rounds where I just really didn't go on any good kill streaks because there was a lot of good players in the game, and it's hard to play this way against really good adept players that are using epic weapons like AEKs. I mean, there's just not a whole lot you can do. That being said, finishing first or second in pretty much every game I played either says something good about me or something bad about my teammates. Probably a little bit of both there, but that's kind of what you get with Battlefield 4 nowadays. There's a lot of new players. There's been a lot of free content and stuff coming out with the expansions going free, and I think it's bringing in a lot of players because of the extremely cheap entry point now to get into Battlefield 4, and considering that it's still an incredibly popular game, and that you can find tons of servers everywhere for it, I think it really is attracting a lot of people. Just the longevity of this title is something that I think a lot of gamers wish that their favorite games have, but that's been something that a lot of other games struggle with, or they're just so intent on making a sequel that they kind of kill the previous game in the process of such. So Battlefield's got a pretty good track record with that, not counting Battlefield Hardline, and I'm quite excited to see what happens once Battlefield 1 comes out, considering the themes are so different. Are we going to still have a lot of people playing Battlefield 4, or are they all going to switch over to BF1? This might actually be a fun thing to do in Battlefield 1, and probably Gunmaster could be pretty fun in Battlefield 1 as well. Now, having a complete knowledge of all the weapons in Battlefield sure probably does help a little bit when playing this way, but the weapons were all outfitted differently, so knowing weapons and recoil is going to be very different when you're picking up somebody else's gun that's outfitted differently from the way that you like to play it. And here I am just trying to get in close enough to pick up a weapon. The 93R is a great pistol, but the further you get away from your target, the less effective it gets by far. But I still managed to get 2 pistol kills and a grenade kill. Moving in here, finally get a gun, but get mowed down before I can really bring it up to take down the next enemy. And then the round ends. We lose by 2 points, unfortunately, but such is the case in TDM. It's mostly just kind of organized chaos. Ultimately, I had a lot of fun moments and a lot of aggravating moments playing this way. I recommend just playing Gunmaster if this is what you're looking for. That pretty much wraps it up for this episode. Don't forget to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.